The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to the Heikadelic Show with your host, Heikadelic, right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, send us an email. Our email address is instudio101@gmail.com. And now, right to your host of the Heikadelic Show, Mr. Heikadelic.
Good evening, everybody. We're here once again on a Monday night, and things are sounding a little bit different today. I'd like to get some feedback from the listeners to see what they think of our new intro. And the reason we did that is because everybody keeps asking for Terry to play some stuff on their own, and this was made by them. This is so cool. This is Toad and the Motor City Maniacs combined for the intro of a new show. How do you like that? And are you guys there?
Yeah, we're here.
Yeah, we're here. It's actually a little more than to it than that. It was that we were kind of just worried about getting sued, so here we are. But yeah, it's actually a mashup of Motor City and Tears. So yeah, we had to come up with something, and not that we were getting sued or anything. We just don't want to. So, you know, on Reality Radio, everything's good. You know, we're covered. It's a licensed radio station, but online, you know, Facebook, YouTube, anything like that, we're not covered anymore. So, and yeah, we've had some, you know, we've had some emails and stuff, but nothing, you know, we just thought, you know what, we've already had it together just in case. We thought, now let's just pull the trigger on it now, so we don't end up falling further down that rabbit hole, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's software out there too that detects music for copywriting stuff and whatever, right?
Well, I've actually had YouTube email me for. Right? Sorry, what was that, Hike?
Yeah, every time it gets played over the air, it detects it, right?
Yeah, and like with Tears, like I've actually had YouTube contact me and say, hey, you know, you're using music that doesn't belong to you. I'm like, all right, well, I'm pretty sure it does, but you know, we can fight about it later.
So what we've done is we've rebranded a lot of that stuff that was a bit, you know, I guess when the show started, they were using little bits from here and there, so small bits, mind you, but so we've done a whole overlay of our new intro and outro. And so it's all original, and it's all very new.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
And we have an outro.
Anyway.
We're still working on getting Gary to be able to unlock that email that I sent him with the outro in it. So if it's not on tonight, probably next week.
Yeah, you know, I just tried. I can't yet, but I might be using the old link. If you can resend it to me, we can try that. But if not, how about, so we can keep it all legal, I'll use the intro song again just for the outro, just for tonight.
That's cool.
Oh,
I'm cool with that.
Fine.
That way you don't have to worry about anything. But if you could resend that link, Tara, and send it to, what's our email address? instudio101@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Oh yeah. I'm all turned on now. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that probably tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, it sucks because we're all of us on the show here are big fans of you know, the band that we were using, which is Volbeat, and you know, but it's the nature of the beast, right? You gotta do things legally, and so we just thought, now that we're doing more and more stuff online, we should probably just switch that out. So it's not a big deal.
And sponsors and everything else. So we're not, you know, the show's really not monetized at this point, but it's getting close. We've got a lot of sponsor ship and offers and stuff like that. So anyway, all of that happening, we needed to go and do some rebranding, and so a lot of you're going to see a lot of things change bit by bit. Like we've redone some of our banner to complement banner ads on stations like Reality Radio and our own streams and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
How was that?
I don't know. I think that was Heiko breathing.
Oh, that doesn't sound like a dog.
Wow. Thanks, guys.
What is that? What were you doing? Laughing?
Yeah.
All right.
Just randomly laughing. Heiko's apparently stoned.
So what's going on? What's been happening?
Well, I have a question for Gary, because Gmail, is that his company? Like
no,
Gary
it's
Mail?
not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's his. He wishes.
Google Mail.
I'm going to start my own. It's just going to be called T-Mail.
Hey, Tara, is that your sheep?
Yeah, okay.
Is that a sheep in your house, or?
Yes, it is. Don't judge me, jerk.
Okay, see it up there?
I do what I like.
Look at that. It's got not one, but 2 pairs of rubber boots on.
Yeah, Heiko can't see this for the people in Reality Radio. So if you're not on Facebook, he's literally thrown a sheep image up behind me wearing rubber boots. So Ringo's an asshole. I've said it how many times?
Tara, what's your favorite band in the whole world? Oh, there it is.
Yeah, right. Not even close, jerk. He's got
Maybe
Motor City up there.
Pantera? No?
Yeah, Pantera would be correct, not Motor City Maniacs. But nice try.
Hey. Oh, hey.
And for me, it's full beat through and through.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, the intro was very cool when, we used to use that bit.
They were awesome in Oshawa, Hike, when they were there a few years ago when we went. That was a great show. I'll tell you a story about that too, because remember how fucking loud that show was? It was awesome. It was super loud. It was super heavy. The lights were one of the most incredible lighting shows I've seen. And I think they ruined it for all the other metal bands that came through after, because the next show I seen there after we seen Volbeat was probably a couple of years later. And it was actually Five Finger Death Punch, and they had From Ashes to New opening and Papa Roach, and great show. But the only complaint I had about that show was it wasn't loud enough. The sound was great. It wasn't loud enough. And then Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch come out and right at the start of their set made it a point to say we were basically informed that we're not allowed to bring children up onto the stage, because if you know Five Finger Death Punch, they're notorious for that. They always bring kids up onto stage to party with them and jump around and enjoy it. But they weren't allowed. It's just like Volbeat did, because if you remember, Volbeat brought up a bunch of kids and had a great time up on stage, let them jump around and do their thing. And then the other thing Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch said, he said, well, apparently we're under a curfew as well, because I'm pretty sure because that was the last heavy show they had there was with Volbeat. And after that show, they weren't allowed to have kids on the stage with Volbeat did. And I'm pretty sure they went past 11 that night. And the volume was way lower than it was for Volbeat. So it's kind of shitty, but it was still a great show, Five Finger, just it wasn't loud enough for me, because I like to be able to fucking, my ears should be ringing if I leave a concert.
Yeah. The one thing I've always loved about that band, even when I saw them for the very, very first time in TO in a little pub, they were so loud. I couldn't believe how, like, you could feel the clothes moving on your body.
Yeah.
That's how it was. It was unbelievable.
So that was Volbeat you're talking about? You seen them in a little bar?
Yes, I did.
Where was that?
There was a little bar in, I don't remember the name of it. It's right down by the waterfront. You know where the harbors are?
Yep.
Where?
The second time I saw them, it was out on the harbor area, on the end of a street, and the water's right beside it.
Where, like in Toronto?
And it's in Toronto, yeah. And facing the city.
Last time
the first time I saw them, it was a little place right down sort of off Lake Shore. I don't know if you guys know the area very well, but there's an old ship that's docked there, and it's a restaurant like called Captain John's or something.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen that?
Gone for years.
I've seen it. I've never been to it.
Yeah. Okay, well, where that is, there was a little bar across the street, and that's the first place I ever saw them.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what it's called, but it was a place. They played a lot of heavier music there. It was well known for that. I just don't recall the name.
Okay. Well, Derek is saying on Facebook, he's saying Five Finger Singer said his mom just died, so he had to stop the show, and she didn't. I actually know that story. I've followed Five Finger Death Punch since the early days. So Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch struggled heavily with addiction issues on the road, and I also have I think he has some mental illness problems as well, and so he had breakdowns more than once on tour where they actually sent him home, sent him packing, and brought in different singers. They brought in Tommy Vex from Bad Wolves to sing with them, finish the tour. And they also brought in, I'm trying to think of the other guy's name, and I actually really like the band, but it slipped my mind. But they brought in another singer as well. So what's interesting about that story, and I find very cool, because if you don't know much about Tommy Vex or Bad Wolves, regardless if you love or hate their music, it's neither here nor there, because that dude is a fucking awesome cat. And if you ever want to read the story about his life. He grew up, like he's got a twin brother. And when they were kids, they were both handed off for adoption. And the parents that actually raised them, well, kind of, I guess, as they got into their preteens, Tommy's brother actually started to show signs of mental illness and things like that, and became very violent and got into some drugs and all kinds of crazy shit. And it got so bad in their household, they actually split the parents up. And then the dad ended up basically, I think he fucked off because he couldn't handle it or whatever. And then the mom was trying to raise them. And then I think they were back and forth a lot. But anyways, what ended up happening was Tommy Vex's brother got so out of control, he actually tried killing Tommy Vex of Bad Wolves, his own brother. And there's actually a video, you can watch it. Yeah, you can actually watch in the. I wish I had the video in my head right now. One of their songs, great song. It actually shows it happening. He comes home one night to a home invasion, which is his brother, and his brother attacks him with a crowbar, beats the living shit out of him, and actually killed Tommy Vex. Tommy Vex was dead, and they brought him back to life. They cracked his skull. He cracked his skull open, broke his femur, all kinds of shit. His arm, fucked him right up. His brother is still in jail to this day. And well, after he went to jail, he put out a hit on Tommy Vex of Bad Wolves as well, which got kiboshed. So the point I'm trying to get to through all of this was how this ties in with Five Finger Death Punch, if you don't already know. Throughout his struggles growing up and dealing with all this, Tommy Vex fell into some heavy drugs and alcohol and stuff, and he was able to find a way to clean himself up. What he did was he went on to start touring with artists that were struggling with issues, whether it's drugs and alcohol, and he became their support network. So Ivan Moody, that's basically what helped him was, and that's how I guess they kind of got all hooked up. Bad Wolves got involved with Five Finger, and the rhythm guitar player of Five Finger is actually Bad Wolves' manager, but he toured to help clean up Ivan Moody, who's now clean. So that's the whole point. He was in a really fucked up place where he literally got kicked off his own tours twice and replaced by two different singers because of how crazy he was getting on stage. He had complete meltdowns on stage. It was brutal. So, I actually thought Five Finger was going to be done.
Well, that's all allegedly, right?
No, it's not allegedly. It's all fact. You can research that. None of this is allegedly.
Okay. So it's on the internet.
Yeah, all the stuff I even talked about, like with Tommy Vex, you can research that. He put a post out telling his whole story. That's how I learned it. It wasn't just me making shit up or random, stuff on rumors and stuff. I actually researched it.
Just want to make sure the lawyers aren't going to come out.
No, they're not. It's all legit, actually. And to me, I gained so much respect from Tommy Vex for doing that. I thought it was killer. I mean, I even reached out to him one night just saying, hey, thanks for everything you've done to help out these rock stars, because you know what? Somebody needs to, because it's not an easy lifestyle for a lot of them. It's easy to fall down that rabbit hole and be caught in there, right? And he's helped some people.
Let's get him on our show.
Yeah, good luck with that. I'd love to have him on the show.
Yeah, it'd be great. And then, he can talk about it or whatever.
Well, we'll have a little chat with him.
That
would be great.
Let's get Moody on. I mean, I love Five Finger Death Punch.
Fucking so do I. Great show. That was a great fucking show.
So we were talking about Volbeat, and so the last time I saw Volbeat was with Slayer and Motorhead.
That's an interesting lineup.
In
Ottawa?
no, that was in Kingston actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last time I saw was in Ottawa.
Yeah, the arena. So, well, they were touring. They probably did play Ottawa, because they were doing some dates. So, I was telling Code this, but the Slayer, great band, of course. I find the singer, quite moody, but
quite moody.
That night they honestly sounded like it was almost like it felt like pre-recorded or something. Like everything was just too much in sync. But they use Terry was saying they use a lot of clicks and stuff like that, right?
No, they use a lot of backing tracks, which is very common in music of all genres now.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you're doing like some kind of rap mashup and stuff like that, that's what you do.
Well, a lot of bands. Well, like if you remember,
a band like Motor City Maniacs, you don't use stuff like that or code, Toad. But anyway, so Motorhead, awesome. I mean, that was, I don't know if that was the last show I seen Lemmy at, but I've seen them about 7 times, so that was a great experience. And then Volbeat kicked ass. I mean, they were first up. Imagine that, Volbeat opening for Motorhead, opening for Slayer.
That's wild.
So no, you know what? That's not true. The last show I saw Volbeat with was like last summer, right? They played with Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Like, who promotes this shit, right? Like, no, but Slipknot and Volbeat, like, totally ends of the spectrum. And Volbeat did that song that was almost like a country tune.
But that's what's brilliant about Volbeat, though. Their style kind of crosses over into a few different styles, which is why I happen to love them, because you can you can totally get into some crazy shit with them, and and then all of a sudden the next song up, it's completely night and day different. So that's why I love them.
So just let's first of all, let's dial things back here and let's have a drink.
Let's do that.
And a little toast.
Yeah.
And we'll get that going. Alrighty then. So that was a banana split.
Oh, that was great. Thank you. I needed a drink.
We want to say hi to Derek out there and Richard.
I was just going to do that.
And so
and I want to ask Gary if there's any emails yet.
Good call.
There are some emails.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Shane writes in and says, "Hey Terry, that's a really cool story that you said. I got to look that stuff up. That's pretty cool."
Mm-hmm.
That's Shane. Trish writes in and she says she's from Toronto, listening when she can. She's a frontline worker. She says she has not really seen any let up on this virus yet, and people are going nuts now that they're released. Be careful, people.
Yeah,
that's what Trish says.
Yeah.
Pedro says,
thank you very much. Yep.
Pedro says, "Hello, Heikadelic."
Heikadelic.
Hello, Heikadelic. He says, "Loving the show, sitting on my deck here in Boulder, Colorado, having a beer with you." That's
nice,
Pedro.
Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Yep, thanks.
This last one here, I want to answer. This is from Walt, and he was inquiring about if you guys are going to play tonight on the show. So, hold on a second. I want to do something here, okay?
Yep, go ahead.
All right.
I want to answer Walt's
question.
Here we go. I'm going to answer it. Here we go.
Okay.
Stand by. Tonight on the Heikadelic show, there will be no live concert by Toad and MCM. So drink a beer and smoke a J. Imagine, if you will, an acoustic performance by these talented artists strumming Toad and MCM tunes in your head, because that is the only way you will ever hear them on the Heikadelic Show.
Well done.
I just had to answer that.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome. To go back to, I think it was the first question. Sorry, what was that?
Shane was the first person who wrote in.
Yeah.
I wanted to, before you answer Shane,
Okay.
I can't really give an accurate answer, but you've probably, since you guys have been doing the show, you've probably, I would say, had at least 30 to 50 emails asking about your acoustic thing.
Yep, absolutely.
That's all.
We're in a big hurry to do that apparently too. It's only been how many months now, or almost a year?
Okay, but we did make an attempt recently. So now that they've expanded social distancing to include 5 people anyway, so down at the Ringo Ranch, code came out and we quarantined him in a room. But anyway, the plan was to sit by the campfire and strum out and make something original for the show. So Terry brings his guitar out, and I have, I don't know, 37 that I guess aren't acceptable to him. But anyway,
it's not my tailor, so piss up the rope, Ringo.
So he brings it and he puts it in the den, and we're like, okay, we're gonna get this on. It's gonna work. And so we get out, we start, having a few beers and a few more, and a few more after that, and it starts to get a little chilly out, and those aren't really good for that kind of weather for acoustic guitar. So I think you made 2 attempts to bring it over, and in both attempts we've completely failed because the guitars never came out of the case.
Well, what we did succeed at was drinking both of those nights and smoking weed. So it wasn't all for naught.
Yeah. So
Just
it was and those were like late nights. When was the last one? I don't know, on the weekend or something. So
yeah,
like
but
4
yeah,
a.m.
fuck. He so get this, Ringo calls me Saturday because he was helping a Philly, his guitar player, move and shit. And he calls me up and he says, "I'm heading home." He says, "You want to come over for a fire tonight?" I'm like, "I kind of do." So he says, "Come over for 9." So I get over there around 9 o'clock, have my portable beer fridge that I have filled with ice. And I get sitting around the fire about close to 10 o'clock. We finally get the fire lit. We get going. Everything's good. Fucking killer. I look over. There's Ringo, fucking head back, mouth wide open, snoring the fuck away. So I sat out there. What?
Yeah. By the campfire?
Yeah, by the campfire. Fucking out cold. Fucking having the sleep of his life.
3 of us actually loaded up a house. We started at 8 o'clock, 8:30 or something like that. We were loaded up by noon. Then we trekked out about, I don't know, an hour and a half or whatever up north, and then unloaded. So yeah, I was back by 6, 7 o'clock, and a little bit tired, but I figured, you know what, we'll do a campfire. But I did stuff.
Well, yeah, then we did the campfire, and it was so goddamn cold, the fire didn't really help. So we're like, let's shut her down. We'll go inside, throw something on the TV, get inside. We're sitting there. I'm cracking more beers, look over. And again, there's Ringo fast asleep. And I was like, you know what? By this point, it was just him and I down there, and he was fast asleep. And I'm looking at the watch, and I'm like, you know what? I came here to drink tonight. So fuck it. I sat there by myself and drank until 5 a.m. Went and crashed for a couple hours and went home.
One-man party. Right
so
there.
What did you learn from this experience?
I learned nothing, because it's not like this is the first time he's done this. I've been out to the bar with him and watched him fall asleep. So, it is what it is.
You know what?
I don't learn much anyways.
What's that, Heiko? Call Mr. Heikadelic over, and he will stay up and drink with you.
Yeah, but
that's right. I agree. That's
not true, because I was talking to Hike, what was it? I don't know, last week or whatever, shortly after the last show or whatever, we were talking after the show, and it was pretty late, And so at one point, and maybe I'm boring, I don't know, but all I heard was, Hike, are you asleep? Hike, have you slept? No. Are you stoned? Yeah. Speaking of stoned, okay, hang on a second. I got something to show you here.
Uh-huh.
Hang on.
Okay,
So
put your
you
pants
remember
back on.
No, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this
Yes.
is very timely here because I'm going to move my mic for a second.
What in the fuck is he doing? Okay, good. I thought he was going to take his pants down. It's like, no one wants to see this on Facebook.
No, so I've got people are buying me these what are they called? Funkos. But anyway, this here is not a Funko, it's some kind of vinyl idol. But here it is, Jeff Spicoli.
Oh, nice. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Spicoli. Yeah.
Okay,
I remember Spicoli.
Yeah, so he's got a pizza in his hand, right? And so anyway, I was listening to a radio show recently, actually this week. So actually what's interesting about this doll is it's got Spicoli in his little pullover surfer sweater with a pizza. And I remember that episode because that was with Mr. Hand. Mr. Hand, I just want to have my pizza and chill. But anyway, this week I was listening to a radio show, and guess who's on? Spicoli, right?
Nice.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. And so what's happening is there's some kind of a theater remake, sorta. It's a speech, some kind of a spoken word thing or something. But anyway, it's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So somebody's taken Spicoli's part.
Wow.
So the real Spicoli is actually famous actor director, of course, but is not doing the part. We'll just kind of sit there and I guess view. And they're doing it. I believe there's some sort of charity involved in that sort of thing. But Mr.
That's
Spicoli
cool.
now is involved with doing some pretty good charity and working with various organizations to help action various causes. So I won't get into that because it's really not fair. But it was kind of all timely, right? It all happened this week.
Yep.
So, Tara, what are you doing? Playing checkers?
Me? I'm not doing anything. I'm looking at my
Oh,
notes.
Oh, then it's Heiko squishing cans.
Did you guys see this? There was, I guess, apparently 4 St. Louis police officers. They were all charged with beating an undercover colleague. So they show up, and this guy is a black man, and he's undercover. He works for the same goddamn police department and everything. Apparently they didn't know who this guy was, and 4 of them beat the shit out of this guy, and now they're all up on charges. Oh, that's fucked. Just
Wow.
fucked. I don't understand how that shit even happens. Like, you would think, but whatever. Fucked. I just kind of had a chuckle because,
Yeah.
So Derek,
Yeah, the cops are hitting the media lately, aren't they? There's a lot of
I'd
shit
say.
and you know what? It's the whole thing is bizarre, honestly. Like, you got I'm even honestly, you know what? I'm almost even afraid to even talk about the slogan for the whole
Well, I don't really want to talk about that shit anyways, because
No,
I mean, there's nothing 3 white guys can sit here and say that's going to honestly help. We're just going to offend somebody. So, but what I find intriguing is the fact that part of Minneapolis, like, there's a whole part of the city there that has been taken over, and now they've got their own warlord running that area. Like, what in the fuck is going on? Like, where's the military? And these guys are literally the kingpin of this is walking around with a machine gun.
Yeah, they need to.
What?
They need to shut that down. I mean, it's almost like Afghanistan, right? I'm surprised Trump would allow that to happen.
I'm shocked that Trump hasn't sent someone in there yet.
Well, the way he's been boasting about sending in the military for a lot less, disturbances. I mean, it's very criminal, right?
Well, the thing
So-
is they're doing is businesses in that area.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Heike, what was that?
Yeah, I'm just saying they should be in on this, just like a fly on shit. Like, this is crazy.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
the whole
It's
thing
gonna
is
bring
like they're
people in, like, do it.
So
well, these guys are like going into the businesses and then forcing them that are in that area to pay them money to stay in business. What the fuck bullshit's that? Like, crush these
Exactly.
peckerheads
You
already.
walk around downtown Oshawa with a fucking machine gun. Do you think you would be left
Right.
alone?
right,
Like, I don't
right.
get it. Like, I can't
what I
wrap my
mean?
brain around it.
Yeah.
Like, this
So
bullshit
Simon-
isn't about race anymore or any of that shit. That's just fuck. That's like Middle Eastern shit now. Fix it.
Yeah, it's bizarre. So Simon is a good friend of mine actually, and so we actually do. I was mentioning about airsoft and military ops and stuff like that. So when I'm not busted up, I'll get out and play. But Simon is well versed on that, and good to see you on, Simon. And so he's saying it's Seattle, not Minneapolis. So
Oh, you know what?
yeah.
He's right. Yeah. You know what, dude? You're
Oh, yeah,
right.
no.
You're totally
If
right.
Simon says, Tara, if Simon says, you do, like, because he's right. So
Right.
there's
But you got to say Simon says.
so Derek
That's
says
right.
hi to Cass, and Simon says Chaz is the area. There you go. Well versed on world
Right.
affairs.
Yeah, I'd say good job, dude. Thanks for that.
So Richard's
Right
saying
on.
Trump is going to go in there. Don't think he won't. It's a matter of civilians that are trapped have to watch the innocent casualties. So
Well, we got our own shit happening up here in Canada. I don't know if you guys have seen that on the news lately, about the indigenous Indian chief that got taken out by the RCMP. Did you see that?
no, I honestly I haven't watched the news
Really?
this week at all. I've been chatting with Perry, and we've been out
It's
and
been on
about.
the news, and it's the same kind of shit that's happening in the U.S. It happened up here. They have it happening with black people. We have it happening with the indigenous people. And there's all the systemic racism going on with the police lately, and it's coming to head.
Right.
And the video they showed is actually a video that was taken from the police cruisers that was right on scene.
Yeah.
And somehow that got out. So
Right.
it's bizarre.
Well,
But
just the thing is, though,
Pulled
what's
over the pickup truck just for a license plate violation.
Oh.
And they were being real dicks to the driver, which was the wife. And there was actually one of the Indian chiefs was in the passenger seat, and he got out of the truck and went around back, and he was talking to the other cop. They were talking. They were looking at each other. There was no shit, no arms flailing, no craziness going on. They were talking. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes another cop running full fucking out and clotheslines this old guy to the ground and starts punching him in the face and then puts him in a chokehold.
Oh.
Like,
wow,
what the fuck?
that's fucked.
That guy should never be a cop again.
Yep.
Done.
I
Like,
agree.
that's unacceptable behavior. And I don't care if it's indigenous, black, white, Chinese. It doesn't matter. The
Right.
police are supposed to be out there to
Protecting.
protect
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. And they're reluctant to, again, I don't want to stereotype. I'm sure policemen
Nope,
are
nope.
the ones that are, held accountable and responsible are doing, they're doing the right thing every day. And even though that this is going on, they're going to do their job. But it's, it's the rallying and stuff that's gone stupid, to the point where there's so much disrespect and disregard and absolute idiots who are ignorant, and they think that, something happens, you got a bad cop, all cops are bad. That's not the case.
Right.
I mean,
Well, part of
I've
the
Where
problem is, though, that people have to understand this isn't just a lot of the people that are over there protesting, they have every goddamn right to be, and so they should. But a lot of these fucking arseholes that are doing a lot of this stuff, it's not
They
the
invade
protesters. These are these
Right.
fucking groups, like, what is it, Antifa or whatever the fuck those cunts are called. That's who's holding up the fucking place in Seattle there. It has nothing to do with protesting. Those are just fucking assholes
That's right.
that see they're opportunists, 100%. And they're the ones fucking doing this bullshit. I mean,
Yeah,
there's no harm in protesting. That is a right we are all given here in North America.
Well, so they're invading peaceful protest and making it something ugly. There's that, but I think in general, people need to really calm their shit down because, we've got friends out there who've taken this whole blah blah matters, and I'm going to say blah blah only because you know what?
Exactly. Good job.
Everything matters. Okay, get your shit together. Everything
matters and everybody matters.
Everybody matters. And this idea of getting irate because when somebody says all lives matter. Now I'm probably going to get a shit show from this, but you know what? I got friends who every color, every race, all right, and they're dear friends, okay? There's no way why anyway, I don't want to take anything.
He's going to stop himself there.
Yeah.
Well,
but it's gotten to the point.
Ringo's rant right there.
No,
Ringo's rant.
It got to the point where real friends were not debating. Okay, it's not about debating, but I understand. I understand with certainly with Black Lives Matter, that is very important, and it's I heard from some friends of mine how difficult it is. Even in today's climate, not to run into racial issues and just from adults to children. All right, and it's horrible. It's horrible that stuff exists, but it also exists for other folks as well. So we can't get I think the main point, my takeaway from it, when you're talking about the Black Lives Matter campaign, we'll call it, and protests, is that let's not dilute it, okay, with other causes and everything else. So I think in my own twisted mind, that's what I got from it, is that people are offended because of that. But really, at the end of the day, we were put on this earth somehow as equals, and for whatever reason, through time, that got twisted and very bad for a lot of different people. And so anyway, we could go on, and it's not something that ends well in terms of discussing, because it moves from one cause to another cause, and and it's just bizarre. But when there's frustration and ignorance and then hate, that turns very ugly, right? So time for a beer.
I was just going to say this, Ringo. Let's leave this alone now. As far as the Heikadelic show is concerned, we do not give a fuck what your color is, where you're from, what your sexuality is. You just join us. Let's have some drinks and enjoy fucking life as friends, because we don't give a fuck about any of that shit.
Be cool to each other.
That's right. That's it, man. We love yous all. Let's fucking drink to that.
Peace and love.
All right, next topic. So, of course, he brings
emails.
Yeah, we got any emails.
Let's check our email.
Yeah, we do. Derek wrote in a while ago when I did that little foof on you guys. He said, "Hey guys, I'm Derek down from Ding Dong, Texas. Cool,
nice.
So, I bought a rocking chair. It keeps playing Black Sabbath. Is tonight the night we hear MCM and Toad play live acoustic in the studio?"
And Gary already answered that for us.
We already answered.
He's a relentless fucker, isn't he?
Oh fuck, he is.
Thanks, Derek. You're awesome.
Zane writes in. He says, "Hey guys, love you. It would be nice to hear you guys play something, but I understand because of the virus, you can't really get together and write and rehearse something. So whenever that is possible, please do it." And that's from Zane.
Thanks.
All right.
Okay.
We will, Zane. I'll make sure they do.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks, Dave.
Nick R writes in, and Nick, we don't know if you are a lady or a man, but either way, it makes no difference. Nick says, hello, listening to you from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Awesome.
Love the show. You guys are hilarious. Thank you very much. Stay healthy. That
Thank you,
is
Nick.
from Nick.
Is Nick actually a girl's name ever though?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
Nicole.
Is it?
Nicole.
Nicole.
Oh no, short
Yeah.
for Nicole. Okay, gotcha. Okay, I just
Nikki.
never heard a girl named Nick, but Nicole. Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Nikki.
Right, I've just
We're
never
out
heard
of-
it short form for a girl. That's all.
What was Adam Sandler? Little Nicky.
Little Nicky.
You remember
Yeah,
that
that was which was a boy.
Popeye's
No.
chicken is fucking awesome. Remember that?
Of course
Yeah.
I do. Any more emails, G?
Yes.
Okay, let's keep
Donna
going.
writes in from St. Augustine, Florida. Thank you, Donna, for letting us know where you are from.
Thank
She
you.
says, my husband and I and my girlfriend are sitting
Ooh.
here having a beer.
Whoa. Back that up. Did you say my and my
Yeah,
girlfriend?
you are.
Husband and girlfriend.
Well, wait a minute.
Oh
Is that,
yeah, you are.
Can
You
you
don't know. Let me finish.
We're okay on the Heikadelic show. We're just going to come to assumptions on our own, just so you know.
tell us more
Yeah.
about
So she goes on to say, we're listening to your show. We're drinking a little bit and things are getting a little frisky.
Oh
So
boy.
that's from Donna.
Hey,
I should have let her
Very nice.
finish.
You were right.
Yeah.
Terry,
I'm
you were
always
right.
right. Okay, I am always right. That's going down. And you know what? Tell us about it. I'm waiting.
so Derek says
need to
Terry doesn't hang around with many women.
Yeah, fuck you, by the way, Derek. Okay, I hang around plenty of women. They just don't know. So
He hangs around plenty of women, but select gentlemen as well.
right. Yeah, no, that's Ringo. He likes the select gentleman. Yeah, I hang around lots of ladies. They just don't know I'm hanging around.
And tonight, Terry Cole holds Ringo's hand.
Fuck off.
I wish that trailer was a bit longer. So I could
No, Terry
elaborate.
Code doesn't hold Ringo's hand. It's actually the other way around, and it's not even healthy.
No, well,
Done.
It-
Yeah. What?
Yeah,
So, Mr. G, was all the emails for now?
No, it was not.
no.
Oh.
Okay, fire away.
Go for it, Gary.
Okay, Steve says, hey guys, love your show. Yeah, keep the politics out of your show. It kind of brings everyone down. We know the situation that's going on in the world is not great. It will, however, be fixed eventually. But right now, we listen to your show to have fun, have a few drinks, have a few laughs. Try to keep the politics and the depressing news out of your show. That
I
is
agree.
from... Okay.
Thanks, Steve. That's awesome.
One
Yeah.
more. You got one from Priscilla. And Priscilla says, hello, gentlemen. It is too bad I heard about the music hall up there in Oshawa. I am in
Yes.
Burlington, and I was there for a show before. It's sad. Any news on that situation? And that's on Priscilla. That's from Priscilla. And there you go.
Well, Priscilla, you could go on the socials, and there was sort of a bit of a memorial done. I think it was it Matt Lane.
Matt Lane,
Um,
who is
yeah,
tuning in
Terry
tonight,
got
I
it.
believe. Hey, Matt.
Yeah. Hey, Matt. So yeah, Terry was on it. Leon from the Lazies, and various folks. We'll leave it at that. So anyway, it was good, and there's a lot of I think on the Facebook page or something like that, they got about 100,000.
Oh, it's well over that now, and it keeps
Yeah.
it keeps rolling. And it was at like 120,000 people that were
Right.
reaching out to the music hall on that last post, and stuff's still coming in for that. So
So Megan, we're on global news and talking about it, and that
Yep.
just kind of a couple of bits on there, but they're so good at what they do. I'm sure at some point we'll see them again as edited.
absolutely, I love them. They'll come out with something eventually. We'll see. Just
Yeah.
hold tight. See, honestly, we all just got to get through this right now, and then see where the chips settle, and
Yeah.
when the dust settles, see what's left. Right?
If you think
Hopefully,
of,
there's something.
If you think of numbers like that, they got 120,000 people, made a connection to that, right? About the music hall.
Yep.
Can you imagine if every single one of those people just sent them $1?
Yeah.
Right.
They'd have 120 grand to start a new business somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that great when you look at things that way?
Yeah. I mean, like, for example, if everyone, everyone on reality radio and our Facebook fans got together and sent us $1 for the show, then Terry could get a new T-shirt, right? Like, I mean,
hey, what the fuck? What do you mean a new T-shirt? What's wrong with the black one I wear every fucking day? Okay. And for the record, I have many of the exact same T-shirts.
There's exactly. There's one at the dump I'm aware of, by the way, a Toad one. I don't know if it's still there. We'll have to ask Troy. Troy, if you're out there.
Troy ain't listening. He ain't listening because you're on the fucking show and you're an asshole.
So Richard says, on a positive note, he loves how music brings people together. Music is universal, and you're right, Richard. And during COVID and social distancing, people were at home, and their lifeline actually became what a lot of artists are doing by performing all these streaming free shows and stuff like that. And it's all good, and we know some of the bands, some of the local bands that get handfuls out to their shows. We're getting hundreds of views on their live streaming. So it's creating some new opportunities, but everybody wants to get back to live shows at some point.
Yep. And as far as Richard, actually, I was just going to mention this. When the music hall brought the three of us together, never would have met you two fine gentlemen without the venue. First off, I am no gentleman, so please don't ever use that to reference me again. Yeah. I'm just joking. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're right, dude. It's all true. Richard, actually, dude, you were supposed to be on tonight's show. We were going to have you on as a guest. You didn't get back to us, but we will have you on soon. For people that don't know Richard, we did meet him through the music hall. He's an amazing photographer. He's a concert photographer, but his background is pretty incredible because he was ex-military, and he was also, I guess you could say, he was ex-bodyguards to the Stars. So he's worked from so many people like Metallica, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. So we're going to have him on as a guest. We were hoping to get him on this week, but didn't happen. So we're going to see maybe for next week. We'd love to get Richard on. He's one of a great dude. So we'll get him on so we can chat with him and hear about everyone that he's worked with, some cool stories. And yeah, man. Glad you're tuning in, brother.
I was at the hall one night, and other than performing at the hall, Terry and I are very close with the owners and everything. So anyway,
they can tolerate me, which is cool.
One night after a show, I believe I was I don't know what I was doing, but Richard said, "Hey, aren't you that guy from Motor City Maniacs?" And I might have been mopping the floor. I've met a lot of people
instead of licking the toilet seats for a change. That's nice.
No, I never did that. But I collect beer cans with Ed.
Sick bastard.
Do some bussing and odd things, and I've worked behind the bar, and that I do have my smart serve, so I'm legal. But it was good. It was a good experience, and you know what? Like Terry and I did so much for the hall, and we never ever asked for a dime to do it. It's just something that it was more than just a venue. It was it became part of our music culture, I suppose, and getting from that smaller bar stage to a bigger stage. I mean, they made that happen for a lot of people, and they to get to play that stage was an honor, period. Although there had been some bands that were up and comers that got to play on some select nights, but it was an honor to play that stage. It really was. So it's something that is very sad to see go, but I've mentioned this to Ed many times. The essence of the hall, even the beyond the bricks and mortar, is really Maggie and Ed, and their connections in the industry and their clientele, They've always put on a really awesome show, and they've treated the band super well. I think Kevin from Crownlands was saying that on one of his feeds. So,
well, he was on the same with Matt Lane when I was on. I was on first because I told him, like, I got the Heikadelic show literally the same night, like right after. And then Leon was on. He came on our show last week. He was on right after me. And then he also had Kevin Como of Crownlands on too. And for those people that don't actually know, may know the band Crownlands, may know their music. They're amazing, amazing band. But you know what? Those are two of the most sweetest individuals you will ever meet. Kevin's a very good buddy of mine. I worked with him closely at the music hall. He was actually, before all that happened, he was actually training me in sound and stuff as well. And that was such an honor to be able to work with somebody like that, because Kevin's an amazing sound guy too, by the way.
Yeah, he's super. But a lot of what we did around the hall and stuff like that was definitely like I'd run into I'm kind of sort of retired or just screwing around, not really sure when I wake up in the morning what I'm doing these days. But I've run into people down at the hall that, it's like, hey, like they see me in the corporate world or whatever I'm doing. And there I am picking up cans and sweeping the floor. So somebody asked me, that kind of knew what else I did for a living. They're like, what are you doing, man? Why are you doing what I can? I mean, it's something, helping out was a lot of fun. It really was. It was seriously a lot of work. I mean, when you saw how much Maggie and Ed had to do to prep for a show, and then after it was done and everybody leaves, you got to clean up and reset for the next show. And sometimes shows would be back to back to back, right? And but it was truly an honor, and it was something that I think Terry and I will never forget. And it's got us a lot of new friends as a result.
Yeah.
And like Richard and Derek and who else is here?
Well, I knew
Kathy.
Derek before the hall, but yeah,
a lot of
buddies before then. But yeah,
I think Kathy kind of she met me. She saw me like sweeping the floors or something like that, and she's like, "That's hot." So
just felt really bad for you, to be honest with you. That's what I heard. I also told her you were homeless, by the way. So
Get this. I would never really accept tips or anything like that. And one night I was up close to the stage, and this girl comes up to me, and she's like, she hands me like $20, and she's looking pretty good and everything.
Nice.
And she says, I'm in the sex industry. She goes, so
I remember this night actually.
Yeah. So she goes and she shoves it in my pocket, right? And I said, no, I'm good. And so she insisted, right? Because she felt like she worked on tips too somehow. But
and I went looking for her that night, and I couldn't find her after. So the code lost out that night. You
missed out, man. You missed out. So
I'd say.
Anyhow, we met a lot of good friends there, and hopefully we'll be able to maintain a lot of them. And
I don't think that's going to be a problem. A lot of the friends that we made there became more than friends. It became family. Exactly what Richard says in this next message on Facebook. Ed and Maggie quickly seem to go from acquaintances to friends, and then become family quickly with many awesome people. And that's what happens. And actually, because seeing we're on this topic about the hall, I had people ask me, like when I was on Matt Lane's show there last week, and I've been on a couple other things, and they always ask me about, because I've even had musicians come up to me when I've worked their shows going, how did you get into lighting like this? Fucking, you love it, right? And I'll tell you how it actually happened. So I met Ed and Maggie through Johnny Ringo here. We did a show called Something Wicked This Way Comes a few years ago. What was that, 2017, I think? Right? We did that show. And it was in February. What's that?
But Richard's asking how we met. Like, did we meet at the music hall, or did we meet prior to? And we did meet prior to at a bar that Terry and I go to.
Okay. Well, let me tie this all together then. I can do it all. So, I met Johnny Ringo actually at the music hall, technically.
Are you going to talk about the backwards thong as well?
What's that?
The backwards Are you going to add the
No,
story
I
about
won't
the
add that
backwards?
in this conversation. Maybe another one. But actually, so
Sorry,
Motor City Maniacs was opening up for a band at the music hall. And I just happened to be there with my bass player, Troy. And I never met. I'd only heard the name Motor City Maniacs. I'd never seen them, never heard them. But I knew I knew the band name. So they went up, and I'm sitting there, and my bass player and I are rocking. And we're going, "Fuck, these guys are actually really good." Don't tell Johnny Renko. I don't need that shit going to his head, by the way. So anyways, so we loved it, right? So after their set, Ringo was back at the merch table. So I walked over to him and I shook his hand. I said, "Dude, you guys were fucking great." And that was technically the first time we met. We didn't have a big conversation. He turned around, shook my hand, said, "Thanks." That was it. Literally within a month later, I was at our little pub, T. Williams, around the corner from my freaking house, and hanging out there. And I'm sitting there and I see this guy and he's wearing this t-shirt, and I'm looking at him going, "Fuck, I know that guy from somewhere." Then it hit me. Fuck, that's the guy from Motor City Maniacs. So Ringo got up to go to the bathroom. And as he comes out, I called him over. I said, "You sing in Motor City Maniacs, right?" He said, "Yeah." So he sat down, and the funny thing is, and knowing Ringo the way I do, he was literally there that whole night with like a group of ladies. And this is an honest to God true story. And knowing him now, I was kind of shocked. But he left that whole group of ladies and sat with me the rest of the night chatting. And that is honestly where we first became friends. And then it just kind of went from there. But anyways, we fast forward a couple of years, and we're doing this show, Something Wicked This Way Comes, at the music hall with Vesperia, Motor City Maniacs, Tears of a Deity, and God Helmet.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
So I had met Ed and Maggie leading up to all of this. Didn't know them all that well, but I like them because they're great people. As soon as you meet them, they're awesome. So what ended up happening was after our show, we had a blast and it went well and everything. And then after the show, I needed somewhere to hang out. I loved being at the hall. I loved being around the big shows, being around that kind of energy, a great place. And I just started hanging out there. And then one night I'm standing there and Ed was just overwhelmed. And he's sitting at the lighting board trying to do that. And he's got to run the bar, got to do all kinds of a million other things going on. And he says to me, he says, "Hey, Code." I'm like, "What?" He says, "Here, sit here." I look at him like, "Why?" He says, "Just never mind, sit the fuck down." So I sit in the chair at the lighting desk, and he's now, "Here, push this button. Now push that button." And that's where my lighting career began, because literally that was my first night. It wasn't a big band I was working with or anything. It was just a smaller show. I did that within a week or possibly 2 weeks after I was doing lighting for Goddo. And I literally just got tossed into the fire, and that's where it all began. And then ever since then, I've got to be such a huge part of such an amazing place. I've worked with some incredible bands. And if I didn't do lighting for the headliner, I did lighting for all the openers, worked with the bands themselves through the day, setting up and everything. It was just an amazing experience for me. But that is how it actually started. I just I got thrown into the fire, and then I had to learn. And I started learning programming, how to fix shit when stuff happened. Because the thing about lighting nowadays, and I remember Gary and I having this conversation, it's not like it used to be where you just push a fader up and a light turns on. It's all digital now. Everything, it's just a billion things, programming, everything that has to go on. So I was kind of forced into learning, because we'd come in one night and they might have had some weird anomaly happen with the programs, and shit would be fucked. So I'd have to sit down and go, "Well, no, this is fucking great. I literally got an hour till doors. I got to figure this shit out." And then we might have no lights. So that's how it worked.
Yeah, it was a good story. So Heiko, Derek says you got a pretty weak burp out there, no depth.
No depth.
We're hearing your cooler open, your glass bottles clinking, and occasionally we're hearing. But
we need it to actually impact the subs if they're listening through a real system. So make that shit happen, Heiko. Don't let us down.
Then he goes on to say, "Hey, Heiko, how did you meet these delinquents?" So
meet what?
How did
you meet us? As we're apparently delinquents in your right.
Wow. I used to work way back when. I worked with Terry.
Yep. I actually remember the very first day I met him too. Absolutely. And, worked in a machine shop together. Yep.
I would break shit and he would have to come fix it.
Yeah. The privilege of being a millwright.
And then, I don't know. I was just with Terry one day downtown Oshawa. I was parking the car and I was coming to meet up with him. And I saw some other guy grab his hand in public.
Oh, fuck off. That's not even true. Oh, yeah. Nice try, Heiko. No, I'll tell you how actually he met Ringo. I had been on the not the Heikadelic show. I was actually in. So, okay, let's roll back a second. So when I worked with Heiko and we became good buds. And anyways, he introduced me to Gary Labar, who is Reality Radio and our producer that's on air right now. He brought me out to a show down at the lake in Oshawa, and I got to see them. They were great night, had a blast. And then I find out later that they're doing all, like, Gary has a radio station and is involved in all this stuff. And so they used to do this show called Boys Night In at Reality Radio, which they don't do anymore. Yes. It was just a mixture of a bunch of people that had different shows on there. We'd all get together, just basically have a free-for-all on the air for like an hour and a half or whatever it was, and just a good time. And Del at the time was also on Reality Radio. He's a friend of all of ours and still does work for Reality Radio and has his own show now on Facebook, Drinking and Yakking, so check that out. But anyways, so what happened was I started coming into different shows, like, because Heiko brought me in to sit with them when I wasn't on air. I was actually in the background sitting with Gary for Boys Night In because I had just found out that I had cancer and had my first surgery and everything. So I was in just hanging out. Nobody knew. I didn't say anything to anybody. And then it just kind of started there. And then all of a sudden, Heiko and Del started the Heikadelic show. And then Del went off to do his own thing, and Heiko was looking for people to come on. So I jump in, and to promote Tears of a Deity stuff, and I said, "Hey, I got another great band," and so I introduced him to Johnny Ringo, and they had they brought Motor City Maniacs in there and had a great night and promoting all their stuff, and that's kind of how it all really happened. And then Heiko just, we would come on his show, and it was always such a good time. We had the opportunity to jump on board full time with the show, and here we are, the fucking delinquents that we are, just doing this.
Well, you guys were such good guests. I thought, you know what? Every time I have these guys on the show, it turns out to be awesome, lots of laughs, good times. So let's try and make something regular out of it. And you guys jumped on board, and here we are. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's been a good time ever since. I've enjoyed it. I always look forward to the show. It's always a blast. And you know what? To be able to just get people checking everything out. And I you know what I love the most with doing this show is I love the emails we get through from Reality Radio, get to talk to everybody around the planet that emails. And I love getting to chat with everybody on Facebook and everything that comes through on Facebook, whatever format you're listening to the show. That honestly is my favorite fucking part of doing this. It's cool. It's fun. It's such a great place to just hang out, drink beers with your buds and talk about stupid shit. Have a few laughs. Good times. That's how I roll, bitches.
So, Gary, do we have any other emails?
We do.
Oh my God, no.
Tim writes in and he says, "Hello, guys. Tim. Yeah, I've been listening on and off for the last few months. When you guys used to be on, I think he means every other week, right? And I'm still waiting to hear you guys live. But hey, we'll wait if the product is going to be good.
We can't guarantee that, but
Tim.
His name is Tim.
Tim.
Oh, Tim.
Tim. Yeah.
It'll happen one day, Tim.
Tim.
What's that?
How good it is yet to be seen.
That seems to be the big subject here on the Heikadelic show every week, right?
I know, right? They're just waiting for us, and it's like, wow. That's why I try and set the bar really low, kind of like with relationships and dating. Same thing. Just set that shit low, ladies. If you're interested in me, just like the Heikadelic show, if you're looking for a performance, set that shit low too.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
You guys suck.
Zach writes in, and he said, Terry, that's an amazing story about you in the hall and your lighting career. I wish
Yeah.
there was violin music behind it.
Oh,
A wise ass. Hey, thanks, Zach, for being a wise ass. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
Little
thanks,
music.
brother. But thanks, man, for loving that. Yeah, it was a cool time.
Ashley,
I could have farted a few times. That would have made nice background sound.
Jeez.
there you go. Yeah. Little ammunition there.
What else you got,
Heiko.
Gary?
Ashley writes in and she says, all of you guys, I'm not kidding you on this, sound really sexy. I really love listening to you guys.
You're absolutely right. We do.
It's really-
I totally am too.
Did you guys ever have sex with an amputee? I lost my leg in a car accident 5 years ago, but for some reason it made me more hornier.
Wow.
Wow,
Ashley.
that was an email I was not expecting. Ringo, you see that one, okay?
I
Did Ashley say where she was from?
No, I was just going to say that. Ashley, if you can write us back, and we're just curious to see,
where you
what your location is.
No.
Because you
What
got a
city
few
you're
guys
from?
that can come over and help you. So,
Come over and help you.
that would be awesome. And last one here, Vito writes in, and Vito, do you want me to talk to you in Italian or English? Vito, okay. So, he just says, "Hello, everyone. I enjoy your show. I am listening to you from San Francisco, California.
San Francisco.
Very funny."
Nice.
And he says, "It's a war zone here, not because of Black Lives Matters or anything like that. It's just the people are so inconsiderate and rude. It's wrecking our cities, and it's got to stop. So we are listening to your show for some happiness."
Yeah.
That's from Vito. Grazie.
Well, thank you. Hopefully we are,
Pretty deep.
Yeah.
helping with that.
And there you
And
go.
yeah. Thanks,
Well, I
Gary.
mean, as for the lady that's an amputee, I haven't, not because I wouldn't. I just haven't. I haven't had that opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, when you think, I don't know, my mind kind of races to the different, opportunities as far as positions go, but that's my own.
That could add a whole new. That could be a whole new ball game, Ringo. Just saying.
Yeah, because that's the problem with sex. Sometimes there's just too many appendages in the way. If
So now you've removed one. Now
no, but that's honestly why. Okay, I'm gonna let loose on the Bowflex. Okay, because that is a machine. Not just for working out, but hey, it's got all those loops and hoops in it. And
so what do you hook like a real doll up to that sumbitch and just go to town on it?
Oh, patches. No, I don't.
Patches.
Oh my God! Here we
Yeah,
go.
we've sunk. This isn't our fault this time. This is not our fault.
We're gonna have a sexy call in some night. I want to hear what nasty stuff is being done.
I
out
want to
there.
hear that too. I want a hot chick to call in
Here,
and just
Heiko,
be like-
do you guys remember when people used to call in when
we've
I think
never
that's
really
what-
had a lot of call-ins on this show. It's like they're terrified of us.
yeah, since
They're scared of us.
lately they have
Before
I
I
don't know.
had a bartender from Kentucky. She had a German background, and she was all hot and horny. And
Oh, boy.
we've had a couple. But as of late, we just get the emails where they tell us, they're getting excited and horny listening to us or whatever. No phone calls. So a phone call would be kind of cool.
It would be cool, but I still
That's
appreciate
Gary
the
would-
emails.
So,
It makes me excited.
Well,
Thanks.
I think we're probably it's like that going to a comedy show and sitting in the front aisle. I think people are a little bit leery about calling in because they can they don't have to.
It is a very different animal for sure. It's so much easier just to
and we're not.
ship off an
We
email.
don't really. I don't think you've heard us really heckle or
Never.
trap. Sometimes we'll maybe throw a little scud over the bow, but not too much. I mean,
You say
you guys
scud
make me
over
feel
the bow?
so- Yeah, like a little a little missile. Well, you guys make the show, really. Like, I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, and we.
Well, I mean,
we
honestly, if people don't know this already by listening to this show, we are unprepared. You have no idea. We literally show up and go, "Sup, boys? Let's roll with this bitch," whether it's a train wreck or not.
So prior to COVID, we started to have production, like sort of pre-production meetings, and talk about, okay, these are the guests we want to get. So now we're back to getting guests, and that's great because we had Leon from the Lazies last week, and that was a really fun show.
Richard, you're still listening.
And, but it was a fun show, and he was talking about his project Bandwagon. So we want to get back to having many guests, and there's a lot more availability now. But we've gotten through some technical issues in that, and I think the show with with Leon last week was pretty much a success, although his internet connection wasn't the greatest. But
any of the issues we had was on his end. But you know what?
Yeah.
What you can't expect a ton out of starving artists right now. I mean, these are the people that are hurt the most. So
right.
Let me rephrase that. I don't want to say that because I don't know who's honestly hurt the most, but people that are seriously hurting right now are musicians. And if that is their basically their job, that's kind of, they're all fucked. So, he jumped on, he was great. He had some technical difficulties with his internet and stuff, but it's all right, man. It was awesome having him on here. And you know what? Like I told him that night, he always has an open door. His entire band has an open door to the show anytime they want.
Yeah, absolutely. And Leon's such an interesting guest, and it went well. And we're definitely prepped to have other guests on. And the one thing we notice is, like, with we're on a couple of things right now. We're on Facebook. We have a YouTube feed, which is relatively new, but we're going to start some promo on that as well. And then Reality Radio, I think we topped over 4,000 listeners each week.
Yes.
So, and I think it trickled back a little bit. It's rare that happens. I think it happened twice in our whole all of our sessions. But Reality Radio,
you do get that too, because if people are struggling hearing, they're not going to be, like Gary said, you're going to lose people if your shit ain't together, and that's so we're working.
Yeah, it gets hard to hear, but we've been really pushing the other socials and trying to tie Reality Radio in with that in terms of like broadening Heikadelic shows listenership. And because people kind of get really interested in streaming, obviously, and in fact, some people don't even have cable, and all they do is stream. So it's definitely not going away. So we decided to hop on some of the other socials, and we're doing quite well with it. I think the Heikadelic page has well over 1,000 now, and that grew pretty quickly. So we're pretty happy with the result on that. A lot of the technical issues that we have are bridging what we used to stream over to Reality Radio. And Gary has a lot of, certainly a lot of pride, and he's taken several years to really come up with a really great sound on Reality Radio. So we've been noodling with that to get it all sorted out and bring a better product to everyone across audio.
There's that word
video.
again, noodling.
Yeah,
gotta love doodling.
So, yeah.
Hey, could I interrupt you guys?
Sure.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you, Johnny, for that. I that's a great compliment, and I appreciate that very much. But secondly, Ashley sent an email with her picture.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do we get that?
And we'll call her Ashley. But if I forward it to you, you'll see her real name.
Okay.
Should I forward this to you guys?
Send it to Johnny Ringo.
I know your email address, not a problem. But I'm saying, all you guys, I know Heiko, you probably
Hey vibes. Yeah.
Because Heiko's not near any type of email at home. Correct?
Yeah, we'll set him up.
I do have my regular email. I have.
Okay,
You have
well,
that.
if I sent this to the three of you now, you'll get it.
Yeah.
This is a real picture of a real girl and a real email. So,
Oh, real? For real?
For real?
for real. So I could tell. But anyways, okay, I'm gonna send it through. Okay, guys.
Please do.
Okay.
I just heard, I had to step out because I heard something in the background. I thought my cat was down here. I didn't want her coming through on my mic. So I went to look at, because Ringo was talking. So usually that goes on for a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, all joking aside, I thought she was in the back. I was like, fuck, I got to deal with that cat. So I jumped off and then come back and you guys were talking about it. A girl sending through an email. I must have totally missed that. But it sounds epic. I love coming back to that. So fill me in. Some girl sent us a picture of herself. Is that what's happening?
I think she sent me a
No,
picture.
there was no email of a girl sending a pic. It was all about Johnny was talking about his toenail. That was it.
What?
You missed it.
You missed it. Don't worry, Terry. Nothing happened.
Yeah,
here.
Okay,
Talk
fuck
about-
you guys, all right? Fuck you guys.
There is no picture. There is no picture. The only picture is Ringo on the screen animated.
You know
and
what?
then, of
I'm going to
course,
send you a picture later. You ain't going to like it.
Yeah, you're gonna send me that phallic pic. See, this is
No,
so we're
there's going to be, no.
okay. So we're kind of coaching ourselves to kind of clean up some of the aspects of our show that would like turn off sponsors. But
No,
know
actually,
what? Maybe
Ringo's
we
trying
need-
to coach us into that. The code just struggles.
oh, right, we all struggle with it. You know how? Look, I haven't said the F-bomb yet tonight, and I'm like really struggling with that. But
Yeah, I
you know
can't
what?
say that either. I can't say that I have.
Maybe we just need to say, you know what? If you're a lighthearted sponsor, I'm sorry, you need not apply. We just need to get sponsors that sort of fit
Yeah.
our vibe, right?
Well, no, that's
So-
100% correct. I mean, I don't want to ruin our show because our show is us being fucking meatheads, which is what we are. This is what we do. We're literally three dudes, four with Gary, sitting around, having beers, talking about nonsense, being stupid.
Let's rebrand the show. Let's call it Two Meatheads and a Voice of an Angel.
Are you
Right?
fucking kidding me, Ringo?
Here we
Fuck
go.
sakes.
Here we go.
I think it's brilliant. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Oh, Gary's emails come in. Let me.
Oh,
have
is
a look.
it? Really? He emailed us some shit? Oh, fuck. You didn't email it to me, did you, Gary?
No. Email what? Nothing happened.
Yeah, I did.
No. Gary, nothing happened. Right?
Fuck you, Ringo. I know you some bitches are up to something now.
No, nothing
It was all
happened.
about
Oh,
a
I
toenail.
got something.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, hey now. Oh, I know. Oh, wow.
Wow. Cute.
Wow. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Wow.
So
what happened? It looks like a newly
She said,
no,
here
this
in
is
her-
I'm assuming this is the young lady we were chatting with earlier, correct?
yeah,
G?
that's now. If you look at her name, right?
okay.
She went by Ashley. We won't say on the air, but if you look at her name, that's part of her name, but not what you think, right?
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
We won't give any of that away.
Oh yeah, I got
Okay,
it. Yeah.
but she said, I was in a car accident and I
Okay.
lost my leg,
Sorry
right?
to hear that.
Yeah.
Says and she says because of it, and it's probably because of what Johnny was like talking about, she's been much more hornier than ever she was in her life after losing her leg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Wow.
my dear, you're gorgeous. I wouldn't worry about your leg.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know
It's
what?
beautiful girl.
Gary will be right there.
So
He's
um,
on. He's
The
actually-
code will disappoint anybody, so it's all good.
I have I have a few friends actually. They've lost limbs due to various things, but one in particular, I can, she's just a super great person, but you would never know she had any issue because she's got like prosthetics, and but she had her arm and her leg blown off.
What blown off?
An actual bomb like went off.
Was she
and,
military?
I don't want to get into the
Okay, no,
details.
that's fair. That
Yeah.
okay, I get it. That's all good.
No innocent bystander, put it that
Oh,
way.
fuck, really?
It was yeah, we'll leave it at that because it was a terrible situation and it happened when she was young. But
Wow.
You would never know. And this person is so resilient. I've seen her, climb stairs, do everything. And I really never, honestly, unless she pointed it out, it's not even looking past. It's just so her ability is so intense and passion for everything that she you don't even notice, right? It took me a while to really sort of plug in, and wow, I didn't realize this and some of the challenges that she's been through. So anyway, it is very possible in this day and age to get to work through challenges like that. So but thanks for dialing in and sending us this pic. I mean, yeah, gorgeous.
You know what? That's at the end of the day, I'm glad that you're alive still. Like, wow, a car accident that could have went a million different ways. We actually have a good buddy of ours. I was in a motorcycle accident. What was that? Last year before, and he had to have his leg amputated from the knee down as well. And
right.
He's done great, and he's doing well too.
Yeah, he's doing super well. In fact, before I guess before COVID, we were having a chat. I can't remember what concert we were at, but we were up in the booths up top, and I was there with him and one of my promoters, and we're shooting the breeze and that. But yeah, he's very, very mobile, and again, it's one of those things I don't really realize that there ever was a problem, right? And yeah. I think with everyone faced with those types of challenges, I mean, things happen immediately. Like, don't ever take life for granted, and whether it's your limbs or
your health, any of it,
or the next day.
I'm a cancer survivor, so I can speak for that. It's fucked.
Yeah.
Everything can seem perfectly fine one day, and tomorrow could be the most devastating moment of your life. So enjoy all of it while you have it. Whether it's your health, your family, your friends, all of it can go away very, very quickly. I've been down that road. I know.
Absolutely. So Gary, 2 quick questions. One, do we have any other emails? And also, how much time we got?
We got 10 minutes.
Well, we had 10 minutes, but yeah, we got about nine. Okay, we'll say 10. Yeah,
9.1.
William writes in and he says, you guys are talking about this girl. I think it's girl, GRL. This girl with the limb, the girl with the lost limb, and you see what she looks like. Is she hot? That's from William.
Extremely. Yeah, she's beautiful.
So just to be perfectly clear, I'm not going to be an ignorant, prick about any of this, because she's been through a pretty traumatic experience, and what? But no, she's stunning. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know what, though, honestly, I don't. So I tend not to be shallow, right, when it comes to the way someone looks, and you want to take, do your best, have pride in yourself, and all of that, but I don't. I tend to look at the whole package, right? Are you beautiful inside, and and I think everything from the concept of being hot. I mean, that's comes from the inside as well, right? It's how you present yourself. But people with challenges, if they're able to overcome those or find a way through those or manage those. I mean, honestly, those are the hottest people ever, because nobody knows what it's like until you have to deal with it or be with somebody that has those challenges, right? And right. And I'm telling you, those are heroes. Those are absolute heroes.
And it's funny, I literally had this same conversation today with a very dear female friend of mine that I think the world of, and I was talking to her about that exact thing, about, especially with me, I'm 43 years old now. And as you get older, how hot someone is becomes less important. I mean, you got to be attracted to somebody in a relationship, of course, but as you get older, you start to realize the most important things in a relationship. You have to be able to get along with that person and see the true beauty of the inside of that person. Because I'm going to tell you right now, dudes, if you're listening, You can have the hottest chick in the world, but if she's a fucking cunt, I'm sorry, you're going to be miserable as fuck.
Or you could have, or to be fair, you could have the hottest guy in the world, and if he's
goes
way to grass, then it's
from my experience. That's how that shit works. So as you get older, you're looking for less of that cuntiness in people, and just kind of want to, a solid relationship. Yeah, that's right. I said cunty. That's my fucking word, bitches. So yeah,
I think one of the most attractive things is really in the mind, in the heart. So the physical
100%.
part of it, I definitely do okay. So I mean, it's not something that
Ringo's just fine.
Yeah,
Ringo's in a good place.
And then Kathy says, "But he will F your mother." Kidding.
Wow.
Okay.
I have no idea what. Yeah. Okay.
She's not talking about me because I ain't fucking anyone's mother right now. I'm not doing anything.
So,
I'm a wholesome boy.
Richard's got a question, and I'm not sure we have time to really get into it, but he's saying with the coronavirus changes everything. What do you see coming to the live music industry? I think 2 shows ago we got into it pretty deep about venue capacities and all of that. So definitely going to be some changes. But you know what? It'll come around in some form. Just not sure what that's going to look like. The drive-in concept. I mean, there's.
I don't even know if that's going to be worth anybody's time. To be honest with you, right now, I don't.
I hear that musicians more famous than we are backlashing it because of you're not really. There's a lot. You lose a lot of connection with your fans. So
yeah, of course you do. They're sitting in a fucking car like at a drive-in. That's exactly what they're getting, and I don't see how. I'm sorry. It's not something I would personally be interested in, but again, I've also reached out to my music friends, also offering my help. If they do it, I will happily work on stage, lighting, whatever they need. But me personally, as somebody that would go out to a concert, I'm not sure this would be something that I would be interested in. I don't go to fucking drive-in movies, so why would I go to a drive-in concert?
I had mixed emotion because my Motley Crue show was kind of postponed, and we were going to go. I guess
that's still going to happen. It's probably going to be next year, so I wouldn't worry about it. Are you kidding me? It's Motley Crue. They're going to come back at some point. They might be 150 years old. They don't give a fuck. Well, they're going to need your money.
Unfortunately, Mick looks like he's 150 right now. Poor guy.
Yeah, but you know what? He's got some health issues he's had since Motley Crue's been around, and it's not. So they got to next year. Honestly, as far as Motley Crue's concerned, God bless him because I love Crue. Yeah. I think you'll see them back around next year. You know what's fucked though? In the States, they've already started live venues again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're doing huge shows. I'm just saying there are shows, bars and everything open, and they are doing concerts there. Because I follow a few people from over there that are in the entertainment industry that interview and shit.
Yeah, and probably a lot of underground stuff going on. And so, Richard, maybe when you're on the show soon, we can take a little segue and talk about venues, because obviously with some of your background working with world famous artists and stuff like that, you have a different perspective on that. Certainly now with some of the restraints and distancing, anybody that's feeding off that business or connected is probably a better word. Photographers, sound people, the good ones anyway, and the ones like lighting, roadies, all of everyone's affected. Promoters, I mean, some promoters are shifting to this online stuff, but there's a lot of issues. Like that's a whole show we can probably do at some point.
Yeah.
Richard's last word on it though, he's saying drive-in shows, can't see it working. Lead guitarist tosses a pick in it.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Lands on the hood. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, we're going to wrap up, and Heiko will
take us away.
Take us away. Yeah.
Clank my bottle.
Thanks for coming out.
It's been awesome, guys. Great show.
Is that a Coke?
And wow. What I want to do is I want to thank the people that are part of our show, because without them, it's just not the same, right? We need our fans. So I want to thank Shane, Trish from TO, Pedro from Boulder, Colorado. And it's funny because we do have a lot of people listening in Boulder, Colorado for some reason. Walt, Derek from Ding Dong, Texas, Zane, Zach from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Donna from St. Augustine, Florida, Steve, Priscilla from Burlington, Tim, Zach, Ashley, who sent the pick in, and Vito from San Fran, and William. And we also had our social media friends, Richard and Kathy. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of the Heikadelic Show. And we will all be back here a week from tonight. Right, boys?
We will be here. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, I'm going to be here.
You will.
I'll be drunk.
Yeah?
I'll be here.
And hopefully our fans will be drunk with us.
Yep, and maybe we'll get Richard on next week.
Hey?
Maybe we'll get Richard on next week's show.
We'll see you next week. Perfect. And maybe Aunt George. How about George?
There's a lot of maybes here.
We've been working with George. He's still working on some stuff at home.
Trying to iron out some technical.
Okay, so people, we're gonna have a lot of maybes next week. So hopefully, maybe you'll be there, and we'll have a maybe show.
Maybe.
Sounds
Maybe
positive.
Hey.
Maybe if my
Okay,
uncle
boy.
didn't have balls, he'd be my aunt, right? A lot big maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. Peace out.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Ciao.
And
Love
tune
yous
in
all.
again next Monday night on the Heikadelic Show, which is on Reality Radio 101.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah.
You got that.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you for listening to the Heikadelic Show with your host, Heikomantic, right here on Reality Radio 101.